Welcome to Shoptalk number
8.
8.
Ocho. 8. That's 8. Today we have a couple topics which were brought to us from by other guitar makers or beginning listeners, and the first one is like many of our topics, a little bit tricky because it is knowing the difference between using somebody's work as inspiration and copying their work.
Right.
So we could just delve into that straight
Yeah,
away.
so what do we mean by stealing versus inspiration? Like what are some examples of that?
Examples?
Body shapes,
Yeah, body shapes,
sizes,
aesthetic, detaily stuff. But I think one of the trickiest things about it is that there's almost nothing original happening in the guitar making world these days, because so many things have been done or tried. And I think coming into guitar making, it can look like you're doing something original if you don't know
the history of.
the history, or also if you're not seeing everything that's happening today.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. When I started making guitars, I was doing pyrography, wood burning on my guitars, and I thought, wow, I'm like the only acoustic guitar maker that's doing this. And I don't know of any others that were, but I'm sure there were.
Oh.
I mean, it had definitely been done in the past.
Right.
But it was easy to think that I was doing this original thing when it wasn't really that original.
Right. It was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
You did some cool ones.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But the idea that you're doing something original.
So, yeah. Sorry, I'm still thinking about the stealing thing. When is an example of actual stealing an idea? Where would we cross a line?
I think it's subjective because it's all opinion based. If you're stealing somebody's work, what are you stealing?
Right.
Is it something original?
Right.
Like there are things patented
Right.
in the guitar making world that aren't even in the definition of a patent. It's not even actually valid because it's been done before.
Right.
If you can't patent something that's been done in the past.
Right. You can't take somebody else's idea and then
Patent
patent it.
No.
But people have done it.
Yeah.
So the patent company doesn't know what they're doing.
Well, yeah, like the patent wouldn't hold up in
Office.
court or
Right,
whatever
okay.
if it actually ever went to
So
court or
the
something.
patent office just wants the money.
Well, and and there are certain ideas, I guess, that certain luthiers have really brought to the forefront and sort of named it their own and maybe popularized it.
Right.
And they are seeking some recognition for it, right?
Right.
So, like for example, the Laskin, the bevel, arm bevel,
Right.
the Laskin bevel, I think they call it. It's been done before, but
I didn't know it was called that.
yeah, he's probably popularized it, which
Right.
means he gets some credit, which is, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I think it's not a bad thing to give people credit like that.
Right.
If they've popularized it. Now, I think the other side of things is if that one guitar maker attacks people for not giving them credit. I think that's where it gets messy.
Right. But, okay, so, shoot. Oh, well.
But,
I got a shape
yeah.
that I want to make a guitar. Actually, the whole reason why I want to make an acoustic guitar is because of that shape.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to use that shape pretty much exactly.
Yeah.
It's clearly a Gibson something L1.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll even tell you what the shape is because it's going to be obvious. Like, it's a Gibson L1. I've just always liked that guitar, and I wanted to make it.
And Gibson might sue you. We don't know.
Yeah, they might.
But there are other guitar makers making L1. So
Is that shape? Is that really stealing?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be exact. I'm sketching it out based on what I think the dimensions should be. Whatever. I don't actually have an L1 to go off of.
It might be bigger or smaller, but the shape.
The regular, but the shape is clearly an L1 shape.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's.
But is shape
replica? Yeah.
Like what?
I feel like shape. If you're doing an exact copy of a shape, that would be more like the copying.
Yeah, but is that wrong? Is that stealing? Like
yeah, right.
Like I could accidentally make that same shape.
Yeah, it'd be pretty tough to make the same. Yeah, I mean, I
Why
suppose
not?
it's possible. Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to get something different, you're going to end up at some point to what somebody else has done before. I mean, there's only so many shapes, except for some of those really hideous ones. No, you know what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't even make a V-shaped guitar and get away with it because somebody's already done that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you.
Yeah.
You really, yeah.
There are a lot of things in guitar making that are just copying past guitars because it's a guitar.
Yeah. And when it comes down to it, the guitar that I'm going to end up making is not going to be an L1.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be very different.
It's going to have the same body shape.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're going to be doing other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that line is. To me, if I was going to, and I think it's open because the L1 has been around for so long. If it's anything like books or those kind of things, it's past its copyright date anyway. Even if it did have a copyright on it,
right.
You could, at some point you can just do it.
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know about in the guitar world, but I do feel like if you're going to make exactly, but people are doing it with Strats.
Yeah.
PRS has a Strat.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, I don't, there's some fine difference between that and the Fender Strat, but
yeah,
it just carries on and on. Yeah. I mean, people are making Telecasters over and over again. I mean, how many more Telecasters do you need?
Bloody Telecasters.
Yeah. I don't want to hurt any Telecaster builders' feelings, but it's the worst shape out there.
Eric doesn't like Telecasters.
I don't like them.
But I think it's the whole idea of copying somebody's work. It needs to be very, very similar to be copying, I think.
Well, I think your intention now, for example, if you were trying to if you made a Telecaster, for example, and then you wrote Fender's name on it, and you tried to sell it as a 1966, Tele from, vintage, I think that's downright stealing. And
yeah.
That's just, but if you are taking an idea that you've seen somebody else and making your own, and,
yeah.
Again, give credit where credit is due. I mean, somebody.
But also if you, I think some guitar makers are a little bit too defensive about, ideas that they have come up with.
Yeah.
With a lot of quotations. But I mean, a lot of these ideas, even if you were supposed to give credit to somebody, who do you give credit to?
Right.
Like maybe that's the trickiest part of it.
Yeah.
Like a fan fret. Who do you give credit to for a fan fret? They've been done for hundreds of years.
And then who cares?
Yeah.
That's where it comes down to it. It's like
the tradition of guitar making.
Yeah, just make your guitar.
Yeah.
Make it the best that you can, and stop worrying about what other people have done.
Yeah.
But have fun with it. Be inspired. I mean, who was it that said, "Don't copy art, steal it"?
Oh.
Is it Van Gogh?
No. Okay, I don't know.
Van Gogh? No, probably Eddie Warhol. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not Andy Warhol. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody said just don't copy art, steal it.
Yeah, I forget who that was. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, you know the idea. It's like, if you steal it, if you're copying it, then I feel like then you got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you're just taking this idea and being inspired by it and using it,
Yeah,
your way, your build.
Wait, there's nothing wrong with saying that you were inspired by such and such builder too.
No.
Like I like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think people have to expect it.
No.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay them any money. Trust me.
Yeah.
You don't have any money to pay them anyway.
Yeah.
You just spent it on the build you just did. Speaking of which.
So yeah, what's next then?
Yeah, which speaking of which, spending the money, you know, so you have no money to spend, you know, paying the copiers. It's why I get so upset with cheap guitars. And just to be clear here.
Yeah, this is the next major topic.
Yeah.
Cheap guitars.
Yeah, because I'm an interesting mixture here because I've been playing guitar since, well, a long time. And I played crappy guitars that I spent a little bit of money on, and I thought I spent a lot of money when I, you know, spent $600 for the
That
guitar.
was a lot. I spent $400 on my expensive guitar.
So, you know, it seemed like a lot. And I thought I'd, you know, broken the bank to do that. It's no longer my most expensive guitar. In fact, I got rid of that guitar because, yeah. Anyway, so
what's wrong with the cheap guitar?
yeah, like, so I was like into, if we could get a good sounding guitar, if it's about a good sounding guitar, I'm not going to mention any companies' names, but there are companies out there that are now selling them for like $200.
Yeah.
And people are going, or less.
Yeah.
And people were saying, well, they sound great. So if it's just all about sound, to me, I'm like, yeah, okay, go for it. But that's all changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that all changed when I started watching Zach make guitars, and then I started making my own guitars. And it's not because I want the money or I think he deserves the money for the, it's when we break it down, I don't see how you can make a guitar that cheap. Unless you are ripping off somebody.
The workers
who are cutting the trees, the workers who are processing that wood, or the workers who are running the machines that are making your guitar
or exploiting
and maintaining it, or you're buying like this wood that's just been clear cut and done in huge amounts. Or, well, just for example, there's a company that claimed that this guitar is made in another country and then brought to a state, California, where somebody, a professional, has done the setup on it. Well, how much would you charge for a full-blown setup of a fresh guitar?
Yeah, I mean, I think $70 is probably like around a standard.
You wouldn't take less than that as a skilled...
No, if it needed a full setup, no.
Yeah.
No.
And, you know, I doubt this highly trained, skilled person in California is getting less than $70 per guitar.
Maybe like $50.
Okay, let's say 50.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say 50. That means they're making, like at 50, they're making what? $25 an hour?
Yeah. Well, no. Setup. If you're good at it, it's probably going to take you maybe less than an hour.
Okay, so about $50 an hour. He's probably...
Yeah, maybe he's making less than that.
Yeah, but you know,
Anyways.
she is making more than that because you can't live in North America for less than that.
Yeah.
So that means that whoever was involved in the whole rest of the process, which takes a long time, even with machines, is getting, if that's a $200 guitar.
What about the shipping? Did you add the shipping?
I didn't add in the shipping. Oh, and the cost of the hardware. Somebody's getting ripped off big time and exploited big time in the process to make it that cheap. Because even with a machine, you're not making a guitar in less than a week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd imagine they probably can whip them out in a week.
Yeah. But you still have to, like an acoustic guitar?
Yeah.
You still have to...
Oh, yeah. There's handwork in there.
Yeah. I mean, you
still. But yeah, when you're buying a cheap guitar, what are you supporting? You're not you're obviously not supporting fair wages. You're not supporting sustainable resourcing, sourcing of wood. You're you're definitely not supporting good. I don't think.
No, I just don't see how you can do it, possibly do it. After I've watched this process go through, I'd have to see it, but even factory-wise, I just don't see how you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you ever seen them cutting down trees? Like, one of those machines to cut down a tree costs like
$100,000 at least.
Yeah, 100,000 or more. Then they have to delimit. They have to cut it up into sections. Blah blah blah. Like, and I'm not trying to guilt anybody into going and spending like enormous amounts of money on a guitar, but I think you got to draw a line somewhere and say, I don't care how good it sounds. If they're making it that cheap, something is getting.
There's ethics involved.
And that's where I've gotten to. Whether you agree or not, that's your own problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my rant on that.
It's an important one, I think, and also it sort of gives people. It's hard to know what goes into a guitar if you're not in front of the.
Yeah.
If you don't see guitar makers or aren't aware of what goes into a guitar, like guitar makers are paying $100 for back and sides. Now you buy a guitar for $100 that has tuners, it has back and sides, top, neck,
string,
everything, frets, strings. Yeah, it's and a case.
And a case.
So like, there's definitely.
Come on, and a case.
Well, maybe do the $100 ones. Maybe they don't come with a case.
I don't know. I hope not, because that's getting even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Holy. Like, it just doesn't seem right. Also, as an encouragement for those people who are starting to build or just starting to sell their guitars, to not be ashamed of the price that you're charging.
Yeah.
Which seems ridiculous when you look at You're not ridiculous. The $200, $100 guitar is ridiculous. That's just silly money.
Yeah. And it's frustrating, actually, as a guitar maker, because the public eye doesn't know that.
Mm-mm.
So for example, I've posted ads for my for sale guitars on Instagram.
Okay.
And people ask the price, like they'll actually message me asking the price, and I'll tell them it's like $6,400.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be floored by it. They think it's worth $400. But they don't have any clue what goes into a handmade guitar, what costs go into it.
$400. If you took $400,
I wouldn't even cover my costs.
Well, yeah, okay. Let's say it did. Let's say your costs were already paid for.
Okay. Yeah.
Like somebody Patreon you the cost.
Right. Okay.
Okay. How many hours do you say goes into a guitar?
Well, now I'd say it depends on the guitar, obviously.
Right.
The Ember series are higher.
Right.
Probably closer to 400 hours.
Okay.
But a regular steel string, I feel like I'm probably down to about 250.
250? So $400 divided by 250. You're making $1.6 per hour. Whoa! Yeah, like nobody is working for that price. Here in Ontario, I think our minimum wage is $15 an hour. They're asking you to take 1/50 or 1/7 of the minimum wage because they feel like you're overcharging them. It's like...
Yeah, don't be ashamed of that.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, granted, you can't go and just take your time, especially as a beginner, and say, oh, I spent 1,000 hours on it. I should get this because I should deserve $20 an hour.
Okay, get your calculator out again.
Yeah.
Okay, 400 hours. Wait, did we say 400?
We said 250.
Okay, let's say 250 hours at minimum wage.
Yeah.
Times 15.
250 times 15.
And this is 250 is like after you've done it a number of years. And
yeah. So we're talking about you have actually, there's no way it takes me 250 hours.
Yeah.
So we way more. But this is where I'm saying don't overcharge, because it takes you a long time at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, right.
That would be 3,750.
Okay. $3,750, not counting material costs.
Not counting material costs, not counting your maintenance on your machinery, not counting the cost of the stinking machinery. You just don't even get me started.
So that's where, if you're starting in guitar making, make a business plan, because you're gonna realize very quickly that you need to charge quite a bit for your guitars just to break even.
Yeah.
Or just to have, and this is also assuming that your guitars are sold like that.
Right.
And that's not realistic either.
Or did we even talk about finishing? Like if you get somebody else, because you're not good at finishing, you get somebody else to finish it.
Or you know somebody that's very good at finishing either.
Then you could end up spending more than that amount just to pay the finisher. No, but like it is a lot.
$500 is probably...
$500. So you take $500 off that so you can get... Yeah, I mean, it's just... Yeah, do not support the cheap guitar industry if you have any choice. If you happen to be somebody who only has $200 and that option is out there, I mean, go buy yourself a guitar, for crying out loud. They're there. You might as well enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if you happen to be somebody who's making a decent wage, pay a little more money for some guitars. Factory guitars are fine. Oh, just to make you clear, you are not buying a factory guitar that is made properly for anything less than $5,000. Or maybe $4,000. I don't know. I'd have to look at the prices. But they're really expensive.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain factories.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm talking about like when they actually put the effort into it and they know it.
Yeah.
There's electric guitars for like $6,000.
Yeah. Well, there's,
It didn't take them that much longer to make that thing.
But I think there's more to it than that, just that. Because if you're, I think that the factories know that they can charge more. Even if it's not that much more work for them.
Right. For certain ones.
Like custom shop?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When you can get a tailor that's $9,000. Sorry, not to name any names.
Not naming any names, but Taylor does it. Gibson does it.
Like $10,000.
Fender does it.
If you're gonna spend $9,000 or $10,000, you can get a friggin' awesome guitar for
$6,000.
Like a good guitar maker. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna surpass those Taylors.
Yeah.
Martins and stuff.
Yeah, you can actually get a handmade one. Actually, maybe even some personalized stuff on there.
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway.
This is not saying buy, Red 13 guitars or buy Treehouse guitars or buy, blah, 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 Mike Kennedy, etc. guitars. We're just saying...
Although you should buy one of Mike Kennedy's guitars. Or
Treehouse guitars, actually. They're fantastic. There's one right there that's awesome. Red 13, we're waiting to see. But just being conscientious.
Yeah.
Of...
The price of a guitar doesn't reflect how good it is, but it does mean you're supporting...
Yeah.
Different things.
Exactly.
If you're buying a guitar from a guitar maker, you're supporting a family. It's the small business idea.
Yeah. Playability is not the issue here. There are some cheap guitars that are awesome sounding, and that's where people go, whoa, it sounds great. Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm glad for you.
Playability is usually just pretty crappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not if they're done in California.
Oh,
yeah. Which, brings us into the last one which I had today, and that is if I set up the pickups, I don't have them. Anyway, if you take the pickups and you make it so the screws on humbuckers are opposite each other, it's a better sounding setup.
And what's the theory behind that?
I don't know.
Well, personally, my hunch would be that your bridge pickup is as close to the bridge as you can get, so you get that tinny treble sound. And your neck pickup is as far from the bridge as possible to get the warm sound.
I looked it up and I didn't see that as actually the argument. It was something else about polarization and it gets to this place where, and I mean, this is just, can you think of one in the acoustic world? Well, we have actually talked about, sound ports. Is that better or not? Or
subjective.
Bolt-on versus glued necks. if you really care about, if you're seeking, it's kind of hunting a tone. It's really what I want to call it. When it comes to hunting a tone, be careful of these little
misconceptions.
Yeah, these like, do this and you're going to get this tone. I think it's something where you just have to try it. Is there a difference? Probably. I'm going to try it. I'll switch it around and see. Is that difference actually pleasing for me?
Better or worse?
Yeah, is it better or worse? And I don't think, well, like sound ports, I don't think it sounds better to me.
And I do.
And he does. So like, he makes sound ports, I don't. Yeah. But sound ports aren't the answer. If that's, if you're saying, I need this, I need it. No, it's not. Don't be chasing all these little tails down. Is that how you say it? Chasing the tails?
I don't know.
Going around in circles, trying these little things. Just be willing to try them when you have a chance, but don't think, if I just do this. Another example would have been, what did you do on that Okavenga guitar?
Coca-Cola guitar?
Yeah. Full width liners.
Yeah.
So for some people, that is the answer.
Yeah.
Not the answer, but it was one of the pieces of the puzzle that they feel gets them the sound that they want. Whereas for other people, they might hear that and go, yeah, that's not actually the sound that I was going for. Is it better or worse? We don't know.
Yeah.
But it's all up to you. So give it a shot when you have a chance, but don't go hunting down these.
Yeah, well, it's like Mike Kennedy said this too. Like it's you can approach building from two different perspectives, where you have to find all the perfect materials and put them together in this way to get this sound. Or you can take the materials that are accessible, or like you have access to, and put them in a way that makes an instrument that's pleasing. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. Yeah,
I actually love that. Just even this morning, I see scrap pieces of wood and I want to try and fit them into my guitars.
Yeah.
I love using what's available.
Well, and it's sustainable. It's
yeah. Why not? So anyway, don't be chasing your tail. That's the moral of today's Shoptalk. Be free to steal, do not copy.
Be free to steal?
Yeah, do not copy.
Okay. Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah. Steal ideas. Make it your own.
Yeah, I mean, I think steal's not quite...
That's just how the artist said it, though.
Oh, I see, of course, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Be inspired.
Yeah.
But make it your own.
But make it your own, yeah. I don't think there's anything... What about the shape of a headstock?
Oh gosh, that's... Every shape's been done.
I know.
And there are a lot of similar ones.
Yeah.
How do you avoid that?
I don't know. Like, do you have to?
But like shape it's also... There are over 1 million different shapes you can make.
Right.
Right? It's subtle differences will make it look totally different. So
make it your own. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I did my headstock. It almost looks like a treehouse guitar one, except for it's not at all like it because I skewed it and then made it more accentuated and.
Yeah.
But I think it twists the same direction, doesn't it?
Twist it? Yeah, I mean yeah.
Yeah. It looks totally different though. Mine's way cooler.
Right. And that's not subjective at all.
No, I think everybody would agree.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Eric's, I should change my head.
You should be copying. You should be copying. See, that's
you
where
better
it gets,
not patent that.
Yeah, where it gets crazy.
Uh-huh.
You see somebody else's and other people like it, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to that shape then.
Yeah.
Do you like it? Like, why are you doing...
Yeah.
If you're just doing it because you think, oh, everybody likes that, it's going to sell my guitars.
Yeah, there's this weird line, right?
Yeah.
Certain things are copyable
Right.
Like bracing,
Yeah.
you could replicate a Martin X style brace, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But if you copy the shape of a headstock exactly,
Yeah.
that's like, ooh.
And maybe it should be.
Yeah, I mean, it's an aesthetic difference that the customers will notice, right?
Right.
They might look at that guitar and say, oh, that's made by that well-known maker, but it's actually made by somebody that just
So you see, you just crossed the line.
Did I?
Well, that's the line that I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
Like if you're trying to make something to sell it as something that's not,
Yeah,
that it's not,
Mhm.
then I think you have crossed the line.
Yeah.
So just stop crossing that line.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Stop caring so much.
So don't cross the line and stop chasing your tail.
Yeah, and do whatever you want.
And do whatever you want. Okay. Well,
All right.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
All right.
Shop talk number 8.
Shoptalk number 8.
Thank you for joining us. And if you have any ideas for future shop talks,
Please. That'll do it.
because we're gonna start chasing our tails here pretty soon.
Yeah. No, I got more rants.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically. We should call them shop.
Shop rants. All right.
Thanks
Cheers.
for joining us. See you later.